have some people older tired walk so much need to know who
ใช่เพราะว่าเมียเป็นเด็ก Okay, so this video, as I'm sure the thumbnail that I eventually created for it will indicate, is about my trip to Laos with Fawn, which Lao is what it's pronounced. I was able to get to the bottom of that pretty unequivocally. And so this was the first trip that Fawn, I mean, she organized it and kind of helped shape the itinerary and all that. But this is the first time we paid a professional tour guide and hired a professional company to show us around. Fawn was very nervous about. Turns out she speaks a lot more of the Lao language than she thought, and it turns out I was able to converse with them just fine on basic things, basic language in Lao or Thai. It seems to be identical. Their number system, use of all the words for money, payment, where something is, over here, over there, that all those were exactly the same, which surprised me and was massively convenient. So going to Laos is, if you take the time to learn even just good basic Thai to function in your life and how much does this cost and I'll pay you this and all that kind of stuff. If you can just do that, then you go to Laos and it's like having a free interpretation app in your brain. It's great. And there's a much higher level of English accommodation in Laos than there is in Thailand. And the reason is there's key differences, and they all center around one thing. Laos is a much less developed country. I thought about this a bit, and that my best boil down would be that the country of Laos is probably something like 50 years behind Thailand, and that gap is going to probably continue to widen. Fawn was there 12 years ago, and she had assumed by now they'd have like a road network. No. And that's one of the dangers there. Laos is much more dangerous than Thailand. It's much poorer, and the best crime prevention is a job. Very few jobs available in Laos. So there are some motivated people, obviously. They're very kind people. Very kind. I would say maybe as kind as the Thais, and that's a high bar. They're very good people. But if you take anybody and make them desperate, you can have a problem, just to let you know that. The big risk to me, though, is the concept of safety standards doesn't really exist there. There are water holes that you're invited to dive into. There's signs that set up. There's diving platforms. There's everything. And there's great big rocks just below the surface. No one bothers to point those out to you. This has been well documented on news channels in Australia. You can look it up to your satisfaction. There's been some deaths involved. Just not a concept to, hey, don't dive over here, or put a flag on it. Nope. And that's, as odd as that sounds, that I believed that news report when I watched it. So you make that decision for yourself. And then another big risk would be there's no complete road network that you would identify as a proper acceptable road that runs throughout the country. So if you run into any kind of medical complication, you run across the wrong snake or trip and break an ankle, you're going to be a long time to get to medical care. I don't know how many hospitals they have there. You can look that up for yourself. But if you've got to go any distance to get to a hospital, buddy, you're in big trouble. Many of the roads, we were reduced to a speed of less than 2 miles per hour. I used to do off-road driving. I had a great big off-road. I had 2 off-road vehicles. I've done a lot of off-road driving. Many of the roads have sections that are off-road. It's absolutely off-road. You'd need a jacked up truck with 2 shocks at each corner, and in which you're not going to have there. I was being thrown around in the car. My body was moving over a foot, left, right, front, back. I had to have the seatbelt on, cranked down tight. Wild ride. Very painful for my back condition. We realized we had to limit some of the travel. If you're an older guy, which my channel mostly is for, rough day. If you're an hour or two in a car and you're outside of like their I'm gonna call it Vientiane, which is how the foreigners pronounce it, and hey, I'm a foreigner. But the Thais don't say it like that at all. The T is completely silent, and it's the V is a W sound, and there's a second W in there somewhere. Maybe I'll get the Lao spelling won't help me. I can't really read Lao, but I'll ask Fawn to say it, and maybe I'll put a clip in or something. It's the pronunciation of it by the locals is unrecognizable to the word Vientiane as it's written on a map. So it took me a couple of days to figure out they were talking about the same place. I kept asking. I mean, I'm a guy that asks questions, and I consider myself at least reasonably bright. And it was that's the craziest pronunciation versus written form of a word I've ever seen in my entire life. That's going to probably go down as the record holder. So there's that. And then the other thing about Laos that makes it different from Thailand is that there's almost no industry there. I'm told that there is maybe probably some, but nobody could identify anything. But in Thailand, you've got fabric plants, computer plants, people making motorcycles and irons and, basic things. And there, it's the whole economy runs on tourism, hence the higher English accommodation. Odd that they don't do the roads, but it seems to be very poor. You'd see a works project, and then here you see a works project. Gee whiz, it looks like a works project back in Michigan, in my home state of the U.S. I mean, there's sophisticated concrete equipment. I can recognize some of the things they're doing, and it's the same standard. Not all the roads here, believe me, but the big highways, they know not to screw around with those here, and they'll make those the same. In some ways, maybe even better than some of the work I've seen in the U.S. In Laos, very basic. Those roads aren't going to last. Hence, part of the problem. There's it's a much more primitive country. And so the people you see there, a lot of couples, a lot of Western couples, men and women, Western paired up. I saw very few men like myself, older man with a somewhat younger Asian woman. I only saw the whole 5 days I was there, 5.5 days. I think I saw one other guy. Seriously, that's crazy compared to what I see here. And then everybody else was a lot of young single people, adventure people that probably should be watching out they dive into one of those water holes, I hope. But a lot of young guys and women in groups of young men, young women doing their gap year before they go to medical school or something, whatever they were doing, I don't know. And then older Western couples, people around my age, maybe a little younger. I got to realize I am getting kind of old. Most of those people probably were younger than me. It's no cooler. The weather is no better. That you think going north, hey, that going north thing doesn't do much here. Half the time, more than half the time, when I go north from where I am, and I live in the dead center of the country of Thailand, in the city or outside the city of Korat, half the time, more than half the time, I go anywhere, it's hotter. The architecture similar to Thailand. They do these curved, concave, peaked roofs. Very pretty. That's everywhere. Their construction runs at a much slower pace. Many homes were half built, part built. And then obviously construction would stop while they're probably waiting for money or something. I don't know what their financing is like, but definitely everything was running slower. But you'd go there for the primitiveness of it, and you do the adventure stuff like all that. For us, we would stay within. I'm going to keep mispronouncing it just to what it's written on a map. Vientiane, the Lao capital city. That's their Bangkok, and that's probably, to me, that's the play. That's what we're going to go back. We're going to fly back. You see the video on our train experience, which was interesting. I'm going to not talk about that, but we're just going to stay within Vientiane. That's their Bangkok, and that is like Bangkok from maybe 50 or probably more like 70 years ago. And it's small, it's beautiful, it's low-speed traffic, it's not a lot of traffic. Just many nice restaurants, eatery-type pub, bistro things that cater to Western food. Tons of coffee shops, very nice coffee places, pretty, beautiful, pleasant, quiet places to go. And I'm going to bring a couple books next time. I almost finished my one book I brought there. It was really nice. And for all the joking about the bourbon in the video, I had one double Jack and Coke, and I split a beer with our guide. It's that Duval, that 8.5%. Belgium. I love a good Belgian beer, but that's to me the play. Fly in and stay in the city and do that. It's such a beautiful, beautiful city. All the little shops and stores and things, and the people are nice and friendly. And again, if you learn basic Thai, that will 100% is the same as basic Lao. And again, the high level of English accommodation, it's the way to go. So with that, what I've done is I took casual video clips through the trip. I've put the clips together, the videos, and at the end there's a little slideshow section. And at the very end there was a couple slides I just sort of forgot, and I thought, well, I'll just throw those in at the end, which is what I did, and I'm going to narrate some of it. So here we go. But I got to say, oh, hang on, here's the lovely fawn. Brown is a really pretty color on her. I just noticed this is the second outfit I've seen her in brown, and I got to make a note to do more of that. Stayed at a kind of a basic little hotel in Udon Thani, which in the Isan region is kind of, I just found out, is known for having the most foreign residents of any major city in Isan. And I saw it. And the weird thing was, it was couples, Western couples, so man and woman, foreign. But you don't see very many foreign women here. You really don't. It's rare. It's rare to see a foreign woman in Thailand. And last night I saw 5 couples. We went to one restaurant and walked around a little bit. It was really odd. Might be in town for something. Might be missionaries, might be teachers. I'm not sure what they were doing. So Fawn's been doing all the driving. We're on our way to check in. I've got to get a visa from Laos, or Lao. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. I'm going to try to find out what the proper pronunciation is while I'm there. And because all those Vietnam War movies, when I was a kid, it was always Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, right? And here everybody says Laos, so I couldn't tell you. I found this on the internet on the way over. She drove the whole way. I relaxed, took 2 naps, chatted with some friends. I think like a high-end fancy barbecue place or something. Sounded good to me. So here's Fawn in front of the restaurant. Beautiful, beautiful place. The whole city of Udon Thani is beautiful. Here's the beautiful Fawn, my little dinner partner. And we just took a couple selfies, had a very nice meal, good food quality, a little bit more expensive there. This particular bus ride was just fine. This was the first of 3 or 4. Most of the other ones were the sardine treatment with fighting for your bags. And, relatively more stressful, less pleasant, less relaxing. Just to keep that in mind. We're in Laos already. There's Fawn. Guy in the hat's one of our tour guides. And I did a check-in at the Thai side of the Supan Bridge, the Supan Thai Lao, the Thai-Laos Bridge, that's what they were calling it. And got a little stamp on my passport. And joking with some of the guys here, I paid 100 baht or so service fee, and they walked me through all the lines, like behind all the kiosks, and just walked me right over here, and my passport's already stamped on the Thai side and the Laos side, so I feel I'm okay. And Fawn would know, I have no freaking clue. And then we're going to a high-speed train, I think. Going to be my reminder when I make this video. I'm going to have to, I don't think I've ever done this, but I'm going to have to include something about traveling where there's a lot of Chinese tourists. My friends who are Chinese warned me about this, and I tend not to believe things. I'm like, okay, I'll see for myself. But I had one guy physically blocking me from getting my passport, which is sort of important when you're overseas. And so I had to walk around him and then step in front of him, the window he was blocking, and get my passport. And then the conductor, the guy handing out the passports, barked at the guy in maybe Chinese, I guess, I couldn't tell you, and told him to buzz off and let me get my passport. So it was a little weird. And then just now we had another person from that same country almost run into Fawn, and I barked at him. I walked, what up, Wang? And then I said it loudly, and I was getting ready to push him at his shoulder, he cannot plow into Fawn. That's not going to fly. So he didn't like that, but he can get used to it. And you have to be a little careful. The whole pushiness and stuff, it's some kind of disrespect to others thing or something. But which I don't care about. Doesn't bother me one bit. I'm going to go around and I'm going to get my passport. I'm going to protect Fawn, and we're going to travel and have a great time. I'm going to probably sip a nice whiskey tonight. But you do have to kind of be mindful that if you're surrounded by a group from some other places, they cannot be very nice or very extremely rude. Like this extreme, I think it's just extreme rudeness. There's nothing more than that. But just a heads up. Nobody believes me. Here we go. We're walking to a place to eat. I'll have to go back and take pictures. This is a pretty remote spot, to say the least, and there was a rather sophisticated looking coffee shop when we arrived. I was like, wow. But they don't serve food there, and we're looking for food, so we're going on. This is where we're going. Maybe it's a river, I'm not sure. I've only seen a little bit of it. Amount of convincing it's gotten Fawn willing to leave dry land and go across a floating dock. Now, in fairness to Fawn, the engineering is, shall we say, suspect. Oh, we're here at our little hut. Fawn made it alive. She's not wet. Our server has arrived. Nice view of the lake. Laos has no functioning roadway network. Ask me how I know that. I think that might be our ride coming now. Our hotel is over there on that side of the river, and we're over here on this side of the river. I'm having a pretty good time though. The food is pretty underwhelming, but I expected that. I anticipate doing well on my diet this week. This is entertaining. I mean, guy's skilled, I gotta give him that. And our guides have been great. Guides have been absolutely awesome. Good morning. Friday morning. Look at the fog. It's pretty. Really pretty out. It's quiet. Had a pleasant dinner with Fawn. But anyways, that's my morning. Halfway decent coffee. And we'll go to a real cafe in a couple hours. Traveling in Southeast Asia, it often helps to speak Thai, even if you're in Laos, because the words for baggage, and a tour bus, small tour buses, rot du, and the rot du mi grabao kong pom. It is my baggage is in the tour bus, which I did not hire, the wrong car. We could see it from here. Pointed that out. Got that fixed. So this was our first morning in Laos. You can see Fawn was just looking absolutely beautiful. There was a planned merit, which is donating for the monks, all the neighbors along the dock. I did that in the morning, and then she wanted to take some cultural photos, and then she tried that on me, and this is all she this is all she got, which was just fine. The location was incredibly beautiful, though. As you can see, there's misty mountains, and a lot of the mountains are kind of purplish, as you'll see in some of the photos. And then Fawn was just in the mood to ham it up and take some really cute and pretty pictures. So I'm gonna leave most of the ones with me out. You guys see more than enough of me already. And but look at those mountains. This shot's actually at that coffee shop we went to, and so is this one. This is when we hit the little coffee shop later that morning. I told you we're going to a real coffee shop. And there's her little wedding veil. We're pre-taking some of those photos. Here is our view. Beautiful. We passed about 20 or 30 booths like this on the way in. And here's the backdrop. Right at there's the corner of our little table, and look at that, huh? That is a very pleasant view. Pretty big mountain. It goes on for quite a ways there. So here's a couple more casual photos from this our first lunch in Laos. Very pleasant, extreme beauty. And this, you see, this is everywhere. And they have these beautiful rustic places. This is the restaurant. This is all how you get to the various little spots to eat. They do this rustic beauty thing everywhere. They do it extremely well. And there's the front entrance of the restaurant. We're coming to the hot air balloon place and the paragliding place. And we're just here to look, Nong Khiaw, sit and relax, whatever. A Lago die. I'm up for anything. So we're just doing that. And day 2 in Laos, or Lao, I guess it is. Doing fine. You know, doing fine. I'll give a detailed report when I make the video. Pretty sure Fawn had never seen any of this stuff before, a paraglider or whatever, or a hot air balloon. She was intrigued by the whole thing. I picked up Fawn twice for some of the photos. Obviously, my doctors would chew me out to no end if they saw this, and I did have some pain afterwards, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Sounds like we're heading to an Irish pub, but we saw a sign that said hamburger, and I'm craving some American food. Yeah, I couldn't tell you what city we're in, but I'll put it on the screen if I can find it. We're right across from the, I'll call it the airport to be generous. But the ultralights and balloons take off from around here. There's an ultralight, right? How can I not? This is so hard, right there. It's so hard to point your finger where you want on the camera. And then there's a balloon. We saw some balloons yesterday. And there's a couple of ultralights. Where the heck are they? Where'd they go? Yeah. There's more, but it's just too hard to point them out. They're tiny little things. We're on the river here in Laos, sitting talking about money. I'll tell you. Oh, here's fun. Suai. Anyway, so it's cheap. Overall the costs are around the same. Or food's a lot cheaper. And gifts and things at the markets are a lot cheaper. There's not much to do. It's really an adventure person's thing. You get a lot of young, very fit-looking people here swinging off ropes into rivers and stuff, which there are zero safety standards. We just arrived at lunch. Look at this. There's a view. It's really peaceful. Like 5 people in uniform greeted us at the entrance and all gave us a Y. Really, geez, pretty nice experience. There's a cafe over there, maybe a coffee later. Thinking of bourbon and a cigar, honestly. Fun. She's pretty cute. Oh, not muck. Lunch. Hamburgers and margaritas. This was a grueling day on the road. I remember it. And this was our first opportunity to sit, relax, let my back recover. I think I took some ibuprofen, and I did have a margarita with a hamburger, and all of that kind of helped relax my muscles a little bit. But this is super reminds me of other than the fact that it's paved and 5 times as wide, but with the overhead trees like this, the canopy, this is totally reminds me of the trails that Wharton and I used to walk back when I was, hey, we could do these big 2-hour walks by the time I was about 10 or 11, I think. He would just love this walk, and this would be awesome to be here with you and get back to the hotel, sit by the pool, and have a smoke and a bourbon. That would be about perfect. I think at this waterfall place, Fawn was trying to get some nice romantic shots for the upcoming wedding album and such. This one looks pretty good. Mostly the photos involve Fawn looking gorgeous and cute and me looking like an idiot, but that's the way it is. Just hanging out in the exchange place with my pal Johnny and Fawn, and just pulled out a couple of mil for the night, you know. being a baller and all. Really pretty city though. I mean, really cute. Reminds me of Port Austin, Michigan, where I had my second cottage in the States, my second and last. Honestly, this is prettier than where we live back in Thailand. It's very, very pretty. Now, there's a lot of other negatives. I'm not saying I'd change because I wouldn't. But in terms of architecture and the proportionality of the architecture and everything, this is superior design. It's just so pretty on the street where our hotel is. I'll show you. There's our hotel. There's a bar. No Jack Daniels, disappointingly. But that's about the only disappointment on the street. Many nice restaurants. We're in the capital city of Laos, and I forget the name of it. It's a super weird name, but I'll put it on the screen. There's Fawn up ahead. And I told her I just have to come back out, get my phone out of our little hotel and shoot some video. It's so peaceful and pretty. We don't have anything like this that I've seen in Thailand. I believe in the north there are places like this. In fact, I know there I've seen video. But in Karat, I think I said it before, this is the first time I've been somewhere that's kind of prettier and nicer than Karat in some ways. I wouldn't change it because Karat offers a billion other things that this place does not have. But you get the idea. Get a better view. What, Chiang Mai? Okay, temple at the end of the street. I knew there was one close by. Okay. Alright. Ban? Okay. Ban Suai.
Yeah, thank you.
Kind of interrupted their dinner. I didn't mean to do that. Being a dumb tourist. It didn't occur to me there were private residences on this street, like the dummy that I am. I don't know whatever that is. Might be, I think it's our house. Heritage, like a historic district, maybe. I'm walking at my typical peak velocity of 2.5 miles per hour. And we had a couples massage here. It was nice, very nice. Massages are half the price they are back in Thailand. There's a bar here. I won't show anybody if I can, but there's a Western bartender, a guy, I guess, tending bar. I'm kind of perked up after the massage. I might sit there and have a Jack Daniels before I go to bed. A guest house of some kind. Really pretty. And there's something I wanted. Oh, this is what I wanted to show you. Look at this. This is yeah, do that. I love the name, Sane or Sane or something, but I'm going to say it's Sane. I'd live next door and call my place Insane. Cool old historical house, huh? There's a bunch of these little alleyways, you know, just going up the whole end of the street there. I'll zoom. I'm too lazy to walk. There's the main thoroughfare out there. There's 8 or 10 nice Western restaurants and quiet bars. No crazy scene here. Laos is very different from Thailand and also very similar, which I'll talk about in the video. That's a temple, but we're at the local market, as it was said to us. Not a market, the market. Notice I'm holding my phone at my natural shoulder height. I would say the people here are a little smaller than the Thais on average. Sometimes I take that stuff for granted and think, oh, well, let's go buy a table. Well, that's $30. They don't have $30, you know. Cute little tan leg channel, by the way. Been walking the city for about an hour and a half, which is nearing my limit. But the important part is it's really pretty. Got our guy Johnny and Fawn up there. Fawn just insisted on taking my backpack. I'm just dying. I mean, I'm enjoying the walk, and it's good for me, and I got to get my leg strength up. But really a pretty city.
Now I have some people order tired, walk so much. Need to know who.
ใช่เพราะว่ามีเป็นเด็กๆ I cannot stress enough the extreme charm and beauty of Vientiane. Here's a restaurant we ended up having 2 meals at. It was so nice, and they had that Belgian beer that I like. I split one glass with our guide. In the Western food and English accommodations all over the place, much friendlier, I would say, overall for tourists. Again, mostly adventure types, and then old couples, still younger than me, but old European couples wandering around on a romantic holiday, apparently, I would say. Here's fun, trying to get a photo of me with the sane sign. Doing a little sunset cruise, no dinner, cash, as you can see. I'm roasting. I've been 4 freaking days in 100-degree high humidity heat wearing long pants and nice shirts. I'm done. I'm up to 800 milligrams of ibuprofen a day at this point, so I'm pulling out the stops, and this is what I got. But it's no dinner, nothing like that. It's just gonna go look at the sunset, take some pictures, and then I think the remainder of the evening involves a massage and Jack Daniels. So, I mean, honestly, a good day, right? We got to see a lot of the Lao culture and people and places, and learned a lot, and it was very interesting. Not be happier we're not going on that first boat. Oh my God, it was so loud. But we was boat to boat to boat, and we stepped across onto this one, which is thus far pretty flippin' quiet. That is the phrase that I forgot to ask before leaving on this boat today. I did not think to inquire as to the length of the boat in meters or any other unit of measurement, because I thought, I just made an assumption that this boat was the same as all of the other boats we went on so far this trip. Shame on Rob for assuming. This is a nice, big, fancy, comfortable boat. Would have been awesome to bring some Jack Daniels and one of my cigars, like maybe my Padron, like my good one that I brought on the trip. But I didn't think to do that.
How you feeling?
I am fine, thank you.
Okay. Are you happy?
Sabaydi.
Thank you for subscribe.
Here's a few selfies or whatever from the boat trip. It was very nice. Again, Fawn was feeling photogenic or whatever. She's always photogenic, but very cute, lots of fun. Very relaxing, no crazy driving or anything like that. So it kind of calmed things down a bit, and obviously no bumpy roads to worry about. So the whole thing was quite beautiful. We did see some sunset, did see some beautiful lights on the boats, and it was a very pleasant evening. We were just at the Little Lao House for breakfast. Good breakfast, excellent cold cappuccino, which I almost always order hot, but it's warm. And she very politely corrected me on overpaying and pointed to the correct padi. And I'm like, no, my chai, tip. And I had to force them to accept the tip. Nothing to see here, just a little old Rob at the duty free between Laos and Thailand on the Laos side. You can bring back 10 boxes of cigars. I'm bringing back 3. And 1 bottle of whiskey. And I went with the Gentleman Jack. It was either that or the Jim Beam Black, which I've had before and I like, but I'm a Jack Daniels guy and I've never had Gentleman Jack. I know it's just extra smooth Jack Daniels, so I'm probably gonna like it less, but it'll look awesome in my bar and I'm sure I'll drink some. I don't think that's gonna be a problem. And I'm more excited about the cigars, in all honesty. They were way cheap because there's no tax on them at all, and there's a big tax on tobacco. So duty free, strong recommend. And we're finishing on a high note. Here we are in the same tuk-tuk that got us to this trip in the first place. There's one of the bus stations on our way there or back, I couldn't tell you. Again, Fawn looking and feeling very pretty on this trip, which was a lot of fun photographing her. There's some of the Lao writing, which is similar to Thai, but is different enough I can't read it. Here's a section I threw in at the end. This is the typical architecture. I tried to capture the real, everyday, non-tourist life of the Lao people. I see greater attention put on the roof in a lot of these residences. Seems to be the first thing they do if they can, is put a nice roof on a little shack. Cute little places though, but if you notice, a lot of the roads are dirt, and man, when they're dirt, they they're almost undrivable. Pay close attention to what type of vehicle you're going to tour around in if you're going to do this. I'll tell you that. There's a shot from that river place the first night, casual shot. There's fun. I don't remember which one that's. I think that's the same river place again. There's these party boats going up the river. I found them kind of annoying. And then there's those foggy mountains again, misty mountains, very, very pretty. And then there's rivers everywhere in Laos. There's just a river every 10 feet, I swear to God. And there we are at that hotel from the third day. That was a really nice hotel. And there we are, Muscle Shot. That's definitely on our way home. And yeah, there we're wrapping things up and just it was a good trip. It was a nice romantic trip for me and Fawn. Gosh, isn't she beautiful? And it kind of served its thing. And here's sneak peek. We pre-did some wedding photos from our upcoming ceremony. Look how gorgeous Fawn is. Thank you for watching my YouTube video. If you've watched this far, please consider hitting like and subscribe.